Hello, hello, hello. Can you guys hear me? I hope that's low enough. Is that low enough, Lionel? Hi, Miss Rebecca. Rebecca, thank you so much for being here. I know I saw that it's 1 a.m. over there in London. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Lionel, for being here. And Gisela, I appreciate you. Can you guys hear me? Hey, Lucy. Thank you for being here. Thank you. I appreciate that. So is it low enough, guys? The music? Hey, disrupt and discuss. Hey, sis. A brother of a certain age. Thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. See, Michelle, thank you. It's Corey. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Oh, yes, Corey. Now I know who you're talking about. It's low enough. Okay, Gisela, thank you. Thank you. Sis, I don't have you. Thank you. Thank you for being here, guys. I really appreciate it. Hey, Samoans, Gorilla, thank you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I appreciate it. I really do. I hope you all can hear me. I really do. I wanted to welcome everyone. The music, I hope, is good, okay? I really do. But I wanted to welcome everyone. So let me take you back. So I changed the name to my channel at the beginning of this year, and I still really didn't know where I wanted to take everything to share, to share my journey. I didn't know exactly how to do it. And I'm so nervous going live that I work best behind the scenes, managing other things. And it's really, really, but this is something I really want to do. For my channel, right? I really want to share my journey. If you don't know anything about me, my journey is about weight loss. Okay. But that's really not all it's about. And so I wanted to share everything with you guys. I wanted to be able to share with you guys from a perspective of, yes, I've lost 350 plus pounds now, y'all. I've lost over 350 pounds, but it's not, I realized in the last 20 years that I've been on this journey, I realized it wasn't just about weight loss. And so that's why I wanted to do this. I rehearse spontaneity. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it, Genesis. Thank you for being here. So I Urban, thank you for being here. I truly appreciate it. Weren't you? Are you? You're not a mod in my chat. Okay. I hope that you can help me out, guys. Something happened just a few minutes ago, so I'm kind of running shit by myself right now. But anyway, I wanted to. So since I changed my channel to Thrive and Glow with Joe, right? I wanted to share my journey. That's how I decided to share my journey. And I pretty much decided, or I pretty much heard a message yesterday telling me how I should do this. And that's how this came about. Transparent Talks. And so it's a series that I'm starting. It's basically, it's a live series that for now I'm going to start weekly. Okay. And it's me diving into real conversation, breaking up my journey. Just so you all know, it has been about 20 years for me. But yesterday I was in a chat. So let me share with y'all. I was literally in a chat, a live chat, and I don't think she's here yet, or if she's coming in. If not, she'll hear the replay. But Vaughn's Reality was in the chat, and she reached out to me. We were just in somebody's chat, in somebody's live, and she reached out to me and asked me to go watch a live of hers that she had done 3 days prior. So I told her, okay. So after that chat, I went and listened to her live, and literally her starting her live was like a message for me. It was literally God sent. It was just, for something that I'm going through in my life personally right now. Hey, Ray, thank you for being here, sis. I appreciate it. So when Vaughn's told me to go listen to her live and her live started, I was like, oh, this was for me, right? The message was for me, what she was talking about. Retirement days. Thank you for being here. I truly appreciate it, dear. So Vaughn's, I got this message, and when I got to the point where Vaughn's was actually referring to a short she had watched of mine that gave her a message for her, I knew that's when this came about. This idea came about to do Transparent Talks. And so it's something that I want to start. I want to start this series. Today's my first series, and I figured, my first series, or my first episode, however you want to call it. And I figured, why not start from the beginning and where my journey began, or why it began. Because it started 20 years ago. Yeah. It started for me as weight loss. But like I mentioned, not for everybody, right? For me, a journey is anything about a lifestyle, right? It doesn't have to be about weight loss. That was just what it was for me, because I was 525 pounds. So yeah, that was something, or a turning point for me of why I wanted to start the journey, right? But it took me a good decade to figure out that I wanted to get serious about it. Literally. It took me a while to figure out, you got to get serious about this, and you got to do something that is going to prolong this lifestyle. So, or prolong the journey, right? Because what I found out is, in order to, we've been talking about mental awareness, mental health for a few months now, all summer long. If it wasn't, it would start it out about mental health awareness, and then it went into men's mental health, right? So we've talked a lot about mental health, and that's what I figured or realized that it was about. It was changing my mental. It was a switch in my mind. It was a switch that I needed to, it was a mindset switch that I needed to realize that I was worth enough to change my mental thinking that it's not for me, because it was about weight loss. It was a lifestyle change, right? And so it's something that I incorporated for myself. It's a lifestyle change, not a diet, right? But for anything in your journey, regardless of what your journey pertains about or pertains of, it's a lifestyle change. If you want it to continue, if you want it to prolong, right? And so I wanted to yeah, you have to reprogram. You're right, Urban. I had to reprogram my mind to to realize that I had to make a lifestyle change. It's not just about nutrition. It's not just about working out. And this is in the weight loss journey that I had, right? But everybody is different. You know, we were in a live a while back, and somebody said, I can't relate to weight loss, but I can relate to having a lifestyle change of a certain, right? Just having a lifestyle change. And I said, that's what it's about. Because what I realized, for me to change my weight and to make it a lifestyle change, I had to start out I had to go back and realize, why am I here? What got me to this point? What got me to being 525 pounds, right? I had to scale back and think, what got me here? And so it was an inside change. It was a mental change, and realizing that, hey, I'm worth more than being here and not being able to walk, not being able to run, not being able to breathe half the time, right? But in any change that you have in your life, it's the same thing. It's make a change for your life and stick to it. It's about consistency in small daily choices that you make. So with that said, I want to thank you all for being here. I hope I didn't miss anyone that has come in. I was trying to shout you out as you came in, but I wanted to dive in, but I wanted to start out with something, and it's a verse that has really, really gotten me through a lot. Okay. He healeth the broken in heart and bindeth up their wounds. Psalms 147:3. That's out of the King James Bible. And I wanted to share that, because that's the space that I want to take this in. I want to talk about healing. I want to talk about growing. I want to talk about thriving. Okay. And even after life knocked me down, I had to realize that my journey was a lifestyle change for me, right? And my journey, it hasn't been perfect, but that's the beauty of it. Because if it had been perfect, then I wouldn't have had anything to learn, right? I believe that the only way to learn something is to go through something, and by your boots, you have to learn from what you're going through, right? You got to learn and change the things that you're going through. Thank you, Samoan. It'd be great if I knew where to go. Honestly, I had a little bit of a change starting out today. I won't share right here exactly what was going on, but so bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me. I'm trying to change my ticker. Leave that. I'm so sorry. It's just trying to figure out exactly where. Oh, okay. I think I got it. I got it. Thanks, Samoan. I appreciate you. Thank you. Hi, Jimbo. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I truly appreciate it. Yeah, the weather, the storm. It's not coming through. I mean, oh, I haven't looked. Okay, I don't know about here in Dallas, but it's going through East Texas right now. So we had a interruption, but I got this. I got this. I appreciate it. I do. Thank you. The J Jordan, thank you for being here, dear. I appreciate it. I really do. Um, so what I wanted to share, that, thank you. Thank you. I wanted to share, um, so I said that starting back. So I started 20 years ago changing my life, right? Why? Because I was 525 pounds. Okay. How do I do that? I wanted to. There you go. You can see her. That's Big Joe. If y'all have ever heard me refer to her, that's Big Joe. Okay. I very much see. Here's the kicker. You know, I mentioned Urban. You were telling me it was a reprogramming. I had to reprogram my mind, right? So what happened 20 years ago? Yes, I had weight loss surgery. Okay, but when I had weight loss surgery, they don't reprogram your mind for you. Okay, that's something that you have to do personally. And so 20 years ago, I knew I was big. I knew I needed to. Hey, Miss V. Hey, little Joe. Big Joe is on the screen, Miss V. Give her some respect. No, but so yes, 20 years ago I had weight loss surgery. Okay, but other weight loss surgery patients will tell you they do not fix your brain. Okay, they don't do nothing to your brain. That is something personal you got to do. So, like I was mentioning, it's a reprogramming of your own mind that you have to do, right? And you have to figure out, why are you doing it? Why did you get this surgery per se? And it took me a good decade, y'all. It took me a good 10 years to realize, you know what? You got to get serious. You got to get down to the nitty-gritty and figure out what's going on, because that's where my real journey began. I found myself very broken. I found myself single. I found myself a single mother. Okay. And I made a lot of choices at that point because I could, right? Because I'm single now. And I made a lot of choices to continue that journey by myself. Okay. It was just realizing that I was at a very, very dark, low, broken place. And I needed to figure out how I was going to continue this journey, because a lot of things at that time happened because I was losing weight. That was one of the reasons that I found myself at that point. People in my life, you know how people talk about if you want to do anything in your life, you better have a circle around you that is like-minded, first of all, and a circle around you that is going in the same direction, right? Yes, it's not always going to be cookie cutter that way, right? But it's a learning process, a live and learn process. But people have to be on the same page with you for you to be successful for anything. It's yes, I agree. It's deciding to love yourself. And that's where I found myself at that point. Hey Kevin, thank you for being here, Kevin. I appreciate it. Just Jay, I appreciate you. I thank you for being here. Are you? Yes, you are. So thank you for being here. And so 10 years ago, 11 going on 11 now, I found myself at a place where, you know what, man, I'm broken now. I had people around me that were not on the same page as me, but I had to love myself enough to say, hey, I'm not going back. Tomorrow is never going to come again as long as I learn from it and I move forward. Right? I mean, do y'all agree? As long as I learn from what happened yesterday, it will never come again. So I don't got to worry about it. I just got to keep moving forward, you know? And that's basically what I decided that I wanted to do. That's basically what I decided, that I had to make a decision in my life that, you know what, regardless of where or what my situation seems like, I cannot let it get the best of me. And I don't know why I just got emotional, because it's one of those things that you kind of look back at where you came from, you know, where you were that at that point, you know, what really broke me at that point, that I said, you know what, I got to figure this out. And, you know, y'all, things happen every day that keep, you know, it doesn't mean that it's all going to be great overnight. It doesn't mean that if something was bad yesterday, it's not going to be, something else is not going to happen tomorrow, right? You know, life keeps lifing, as people say. Yes, because if you reprogram your mind, it keeps lifing, because there's more for us to learn as long as we are still breathing. And y'all, everything I'm saying, I have told myself, and that's why I'm here. I'm here because I want to share with someone else that may need that help. I was mentioning that I got the idea of Transparent Talks yesterday, literally, because Bonds asked me to listen to one of her lives, right? Well, y'all, she was telling me that she listened to a short where I was talking about going through this journey for the last 10 years, okay? And it spoke to her because she's going through a journey of her own. It has nothing to do about weight loss, okay? Her journey has nothing to do about weight loss, but it's a journey that she can relate to me because she's a woman. She's going through different things in her life, you know, and she can relate to it and take something from it. And that is why I want to share this. That is my purpose, because that's why this came to me. That's why this message came to me, because that is all I've ever wanted to do. I wanted to share with not just women. I wanted to share what I've learned throughout my journey, because I always used it as a motivation for myself, my personal motivation. It was my accountability. Held myself accountable. And it was me sharing it, that maybe somebody out there could hear it, even if one person, y'all. I swear, sorry. It's really how I feel. Even if one person hears what I got to say or what I've been through, and you're able to relate to it, or you're able to take something from it and it helps you, I believe that I've done well for myself and my purpose. So with that said, I've talked a lot. Thank you. Thank you, Just Jay. I got you. Hey, Vons, I've been talking about you this whole time since I started, girl. So you're gonna have to listen to the beginning, because I'm giving you are the reason that this came about. And I kind of told you in your comments, but when you spoke to me yesterday in that chat, and you asked me to listen to your live, you didn't know, but it was a godsend. First of all, when you began talking, your live began talking, it spoke to me about something going on in my life personally. But when you got to the part where you saw my short and it spoke to you, that's what Transparent Talks came from. It was like I knew it was a message for me, and this is how I wanted to share my journey. And so that's where this began from. So I got emotional a little bit ago. Thank you, Bestie. I appreciate it. I saw you trying to come in, but I know I get it. I truly, truly do appreciate, anybody who shares anything with me, or reaches out to me. I really honestly appreciate it, because you don't know, a lot of times you're sending some messages that you're being sensitive to thinking. It's one of those things that people say, if you, and I think my bestie has said this all the time, if you think about somebody, go ahead and reach out to them, or go ahead and pray for them, because you're thinking about them, or they come to your mind for a reason, and that's very true. It's the same type of thing. If you think about sharing something with someone, go ahead and I really appreciate the people that listen to that calling, or those things, whatever you want to call it. I really appreciate those who listen to that, because it really, really was a message for me, Bonds. It really was. So I want, with everything that I shared, I realized, I just want to, double back. It was a mindset shift or change for me. It was a mindset change that when I got to that broken place in my life, going on 11 years now, I had to make a mindset shift. And I had to realize, you know what? This is a lifestyle change. It's not anymore. Okay, let me back up. So for me, not for everybody, but for me, it was about weight loss, right? And I've shared this before. So I had to realize it was more than loving the food that I used to eat. And I had to change the mindset that I had to love myself more than that food. And I hope that helps somebody, because I see it all the time. So many people will constantly, after they've had a weight loss surgery, they've had any kind of weight loss, they're constantly, yes, you're learning nutrition, you're learning how to eat again. You've got to learn those things, because it's a lifestyle change for you, right? And in any kind of lifestyle change, you've got to learn. For Vons, you've got to learn how to decipher and read the word, and how it helps you, right? You got to learn those things. I'm not talking about you, Ray. Hush. Why are you telling my business? Brilliance, blessing. Thank you for being here. Thank you. I appreciate it. You're welcome. I said what I said. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. But no, I'm not talking about you, Ray Ray. I promise. But it's just something that I've learned. Okay. I had to realize that I had to remember I said 11 years, going on 11 years ago, I found myself around people who, because I was losing weight, were, were disrespecting me and not supporting my weight loss, right? So I had to get to a point where, hey, do I follow the people that are in my life and around me because and follow what they want me to do, or should I now love myself more and know that, hey, I need to lose weight to get healthier, right? That's why I did it, to get healthier. So should I love me more, or should I love those who claim they love me more, right? And it had to do with food too. I had to reprogram my mind on food, because now I had to realize food is fuel. Food is fuel for my life, right? And so I had to reprogram my mind. It's going to help me continue moving my body, right? But it's not going to help me accomplish what I want to accomplish, so I can make a lifestyle change, and so I can be on this earth as long as I'm possibly able to. Okay. Healthy. And but it wasn't only about food either. Okay. It wasn't just reprogramming. It was, for me, I had to realize that I had to be consistent in anything that I did. Okay. I had to first do the mindset change. Okay. I had to do a mindset change, and I had to believe that I was more worthy than anything else going on in my life. But second, I had to be consistent. I had to be consistent in what someone mentioned earlier, those daily choices that I made, those daily changes that I made. I had to be consistent in it. I mentioned earlier in a different premiere, I believe, that that my sis had, and it they had so many gems in the lifestyle they were talking about, or in what they were talking about, but in everything it goes back to consistency, right? That is one of the things that I have learned. I have to be consistent, or we have to be consistent in anything we do to make that lifestyle change. That is one of the main things that I have learned. I had to be consistent in those small daily choices and changes that I made. Sorry, I get Facebook messages and I'm like, another thing though that I personally made in my life, okay, it had to do with faith, and it had to do with the faith part for my life. That's where I was able to make that inner healing my foundation. Okay. I mentioned that it was a lifestyle change. And for me personally, it was about weight loss, but I had to figure out how I got to the place that I was in, which was 525 pounds per, right? I had to figure out what got me to being there. But that's where I had to tap into my faith, and I had to tap into the core reason that got me to her. I had to tap into that place. Why did I get there? What happened in my life that I had to eat for comfort, right? And so those things, guys, I had to realize that it was an aspect of everything, because again, it wasn't just about weight loss. I had to now dig deep and figure out why I'm here. why I'm here, in order to start healing it and to start changing it. Because again, I had to love myself more than what happened then. I had to get to that place. Okay. And I want to ask you all a question. What's one moment in your life that sparked a change for you? And it's something, you don't have to share it with me. You don't have to share it with the chat. I want to ask you, what is something in your life, any change? It doesn't matter. I'm not just talking about weight loss, because we all have different journeys in life. But I want you to think about what has sparked a change for you in your life. What was a moment in your life that sparked an actual change? And if you haven't gotten to a moment in your life where maybe you've had many moments and you still have not decided to make a change, then what is it going to take for you to actually buckle down and decide that you want to make that change? There's a lot of different things that can happen, and people will talk about getting to a very dark, low place. Okay. And sometimes people continue in a dark place and they start making an excuse. And I'm not trying to call out anyone, but when I say this term, we'll know, and I'm not trying to say, no, I'm not going to do it. I don't want to call out. I don't want anyone to feel like I'm calling them out. But when you start making excuses of why you're in the place that you're in, and you start basically accepting it and just deciding that, you know what, this is my life, or this is how this is the curveball that life has thrown me. And so I'm just going to ride the wave, right? Is that working for you? And these are just questions that I want to, ask you guys. If you want to share, you can. I would love it. But you don't have to. You don't have to. I'm the one here trying to be transparent and trying to talk to you guys. I decided I wanted to be transparent and share with you guys. So you don't have to be, but I do want to pose those questions to you. I want to pose those questions for you to start thinking about it. Think about why you're in this place that you think that is just where you need to be, or where you're supposed to be. A lot of times people will make excuses, and I'm saying this because these are excuses that I made. Okay. I remember making an excuse and saying, you know what? I'm never going to be able to get down to my BMI. I don't know if you know what body mass index is, but some of you do. Well, on a certain scale, it's talking about what your height is according to what you weigh, and what they call it should be a healthy weight. They try to put you in this box that if you're this height and you weigh this amount, then you're healthy, or you're obese, or you are, what is the next one? Not just obese, but big obese, whatever you want to call it. I can't even think, because I was always tipping the scale, of course. I believe that too, Gisela. I believe it's a scam. No one should go by it. I agree. But some people, when you're starting out, Gisela, when you're starting out and you've always been overweight, morbidly obese. Yes, that's the word. Thanks, Samoan. Yes, Ray. That is the word. I was always that. Okay. I was always that. But when I was always overweight, guys, I was always overweight. Okay. since I was 9 years old, I found, and I know some people have heard this before, my story, but at 10 years old, I found records from the nurse's office. At 10 years old, I had nurse records of getting weighed, getting my eyesight checked and everything in elementary. And at 10 years old, I weighed 175 pounds, guys. I know that's probably Vaughn's. You've probably never weighed 175 pounds. Maybe when you were pregnant, maybe. But either way, some people have, some people have not. Because it's not all about weight loss, right? However, for me, when you have always been overweight and you get to a point where you want to lose weight, there's always like, places where you got to start, and you start learning. And so BMI is something that they throw at you, of course, to try to measure yourself towards. Well, what happens to somebody who's never been, at a healthy weight and always since a child has been overweight, it literally messes with your mind at that point and think, man, I'm never going to get there. Why even start? Those negative thoughts come to your mind. Those negative thoughts come to your mind and tell you, you know what? Why even bother? I ain't ever going to get there. I'm not even joking, because you can imagine at 10 years old being 175 pounds, you can't even fathom the thought. For me personally, when I hit 175 pounds, it was like full circle for me. It was like life came full circle. I got so afraid. Yes, excuses are self-made. Yes, very much so. Those excuses we put for ourselves because we are at a place in our life where we can't fathom the end of the rainbow. You can't picture it. You can't foresee it. So those negative thoughts, those excuses that we throw ourselves, we continue to ride the wave that we've been on, that we've been hitting rock bottom with. We continue to ride those waves because of the excuses that we put in our own minds, because of those different reasons. You can't hear me? Can you guys hear me? Ray says she can't hear me. I hope you can hear me. Guys, maybe it's just you, Ray. Can you guys hear me? Can you put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me? Okay. Yes, I can hear you. Okay, I think it's you, Ray. I love you, girl. So those excuses, for somebody coming from always being overweight. Thank you, sis. Always being overweight. I couldn't, and you go to a weight loss, doctor, and they tell you, okay, they give you a BMI chart, which Gisela agrees it's a scam, but that's like the basis where you start learning, and so then you've made another excuse in your own mind. Man, I'll never get there. Why even try? Why even bother? And so it's easier to put those excuses in your mind. It's easier to go through that. It's easier to make those excuses and never try figuring out why. What got me here? What got me to this point? What do I have to do? And to love myself more, be consistent in the changes that I got to make, and just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Just keep going forward, regardless of whether you can see that gold at the end of the rainbow, or you don't even know if it'll ever come. Regardless, you got to put yourself first. You got to love yourself more than what you've been going through. You got to love yourself more. You have to make up in your mind, not no one, not nothing happening in my life, not anyone that has been around me is going to keep me from loving myself more. And with that, I had to, tag into my faith. That was for me. That's what I used to get my inner core healing foundation started on my healing. I had to put people around me or meet people that were better for where I wanted to go, right? If they were, say, if I wanted to try to get to point B, but they were stuck on point A, and they were just stuck there, and they weren't doing anything to help me to get to point B, then they were there for a reason. They were there for a season, but we got to keep going forward, and I got to get to point B. So whoever's coming to point B with me, that it may change. It may change. Okay? That is where I found myself at my most broken place, right? It was the most broken place I was in. That was going on 11 years now. But when I tell you, I don't have any regrets for what got me to even that point. I don't have any regrets. I don't have any hate. Hey, Faith, thank you for being here, dear. I appreciate it. I'm trying. Love you. I don't have any regrets because I truly believe that everything that I've gone through, and this is what I truly believe, everything and anything that I have gone through has taught me something that is going to help me get to another level. It's going to help me, or is helping me get to another level. Either the journey of it, the experience of it, or the lesson of it will help me get to the point that I want to go for myself. Whatever that is for you, right? It doesn't have to be about weight loss, but you've got to get your mindset changed, right? And that mindset comes from loving yourself first, loving yourself more than what got you to the point that you were at. It's going to take consistency, doing the same. Even, man, y'all, I listen to, there's a lot of different people that I watch. There's people that are in, what do you call it? When you are prepping for a show, bodybuilders, or any kind of, prepping for bodybuilding or physique, any kind of prep like that. Okay. You go through different type of prep, and you work with an actual trainer. And when I tell you, and I look at them and I watch, and they do the same thing, kind of like what I'm doing. I'm sharing my journey to keep myself accountable, to keep myself motivated. That's why I share it. Okay. Well, they share theirs to keep themselves accountable, to keep themselves motivated, but they're sharing what they eat. They're sharing what they do. They share, every little movement of that journey for themselves. And they will eat the same thing for breakfast, the same thing for lunch, their workouts change, but their nutrition usually stays the same. And I think about it and I'm like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And there's a lot of people like that. That's why they don't stay consistent, because you get to a point where those small daily choices that you have to make up in your mind. What's more important? Is it me and where I want to be, or the love of eating something different in that aspect, right? Or is it doing whatever, anything that you're doing being more enjoyable for you, getting you to the place you want to be in your channel, getting yourself at a faith level that's higher than where you came from, and those are just different. That I share that because it is the same for any different aspect of life. That lifestyle change has to be okay. Thank you, Vance. That lifestyle change has to be consistent for you to make those small daily choices and be successful in where you want to be. Realizing that it is a lifestyle, realizing that it was a lifestyle change for me is what got me to a place where I could see success at the end of the rainbow. I could see it. I could see how I was going to get there, how I was going to accomplish getting there. It was those small changes and those small, consistent. Man, it gets boring sometimes, right? I think everybody can attest any kind of lifestyle change. It gets boring sometimes, right? Sometimes, you'd rather, and just Jay, I love you, girl. But sometimes, it gets a little boring. So you want to get into a beef chat and you want to just follow the algorithm. And, I'm just playing with you. But, sometimes it gets boring. So you want to go have some fun, That's just, and I'm just being facetious. I'm just being, to try to make you laugh. But it's one of those things, it just gets boring sometimes and you don't want to do it because, you want to fall off. And I'm talking about weight loss personally, right? Because it gets boring doing the same thing every day. But one of the things that I want to share, guys, one of the things that I learned that I had to do for myself was I literally had to make a routine. I had to make a routine for myself and follow that routine. Because if I personally fell off that routine, then it kind of freaked me out. For real. It kind of freaked me out. It's like, oh crap, I'm not doing what I was normally doing and I got to get back on track. Because once you do a routine for so long, people, there's differences in what people say. Some people say 21 days, some people say 90 days, some people, so it's whatever it is for you personally is what I believe, whatever it is for you. But once you are consistent in doing the same routine over and over and you fall off of that routine, that's when it'll trigger you and you need to get back on whatever routine you got yourself on to get you to from point A to point B. Okay. So, and that's just a little gem that would help me, being consistent, getting a routine going and sticking to that routine. That's where I felt that I needed to be. That's where I felt that I needed to go, or how I needed to stay on it, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense for everyone. So with that said, I wanted to know if anyone had any questions for me at all. I hope those key turning points that I shared that were turning points for me and why I began that time in my life and where I began to make these changes that I wanted to make. Those key turning points for me, I wanted to share and maybe, give you some of those thoughts for yourself. And what is it going to take for you to make those changes? If you're already making the changes, then, to stay consistent and continue making those changes for whatever you want to accomplish in your life. So I wanted to know if anyone had any questions for me at all. What I will be doing with these transparent talks, I will mention. I will be doing a series per week. I mentioned at the beginning, I'll be doing a series per week. And today I wanted to start about where my journey began. And I consider my journey, yes, it started 20 years ago, but that broken place that I found myself going on 11 years ago now is where it actually was a trigger for me. That was my trigger that told me I need to make a change, and I need to make a mindset change, because you are worth more, Joe. I had to love myself more than what was going on in my life at that time. No matter how dark it looked, no matter how alone it seemed that I was about to be, um, it actually brought me to a place where I met people in my life. People walked into my life that I didn't expect. We've talked about how long I've known my bestie. It's about that time period, right after that time period, that I actually met my bestie. And so you just never know where life is going to take you. So take it. Quit riding the wave and make a decision for yourself on what you want to do. Yes, consistency is key, V. It truly is. In anything, even getting from point B to point C, you know, because you'll always have another level that you want to gain, you want to change, that you want to get to, right? Once you accomplish one thing, hey, there's another goal. There's another goal to set. As long as you make one thing, let's make another change and let's hit the next goal, you know? So you've got to stay consistent, and we've got to stay consistent to get to that next level. Especially, and I can bring it down. I can narrow it down to me with my channel, right? I got to stay consistent, come in here and share my journey with you guys like I've been wanting to do. Hey, Frugal Mama, thank you for being here. People who suffer are important to the journey. Is that what you wanted to write? I'm not sure, but I agree with you. Anybody that are meant to be in your journey and that are in the journey with you are meant to be there. And like I mentioned earlier, they're meant for a reason, a season, or a lesson, right? They're there for a reason. They are meant. Anybody support. Anybody, yeah, they're meant to continue that journey with you. They really are, you know? But if not, don't let them keep you down. Don't let them push you back or keep you back. You got to break those chains and continue moving forward, being consistent, you know? Just like I want to do this, my channel, my purpose for sharing my transparency is because I want to share my journey with somebody that it may help you. Even if it's just one thing that'll help you in whatever journey you are on. You may not be on the same type of journey that I've been on. But if I can share something that'll help you in yours, then man, I'm doing what I wanted to do. And that's why I come on here, to try to be transparent, to try to share with you all. So one thing that I want to leave you all with, if you don't have any questions for me, no matter what's weighing you down, you are never too broken to rebuild. Healing is possible. Thriving is possible. And it all starts with one step. One step. Just keep one step in front of the other and keep going forward. That's what I wanted to leave you all with. Okay? I truly, truly am so thankful that you all came to be here because honestly, I had it very set up differently, you know. My bestie was supposed to be in the back end, and things changed literally after we had already started. But I didn't let it didn't bring me down. It actually, you know, he called me and says, Joe, my internet went out. But I just, you know, I didn't let it knock me down. And I'm so thankful for that. Something just kept me going, And I'm so thankful. I don't know who's listening or who's watching anymore. You didn't have any questions for me, but I do want to thank you all so much. Whether you listen to this on the replay or you're listening with me. Hey Joe, hey Joe. I was reading Hey Joe and chat. Selena, thank you so much for stopping by. I truly appreciate it. Thank you, Lionel. I appreciate you. Thank you, Selena, for being here. But like I said, I wanted to share that with you all. And I'm going to share that again because Selena came in, and I want to share at least my encouragement with you so you can hear my encouragement. Okay, Selena? If you want to listen to the replay, that'll be great. But I want to share my encouragement with you while you're here. No matter what's weighing you down, you are never too broken to rebuild. Healing is possible. Thriving is possible. And it all starts with one step. Okay? I wanted to share that for sure. But thank you all for so much for being here with me. Thank you for sharing, speaking in the chat with me, making me feel like I'm not alone. This is only the first of my transparent talks, okay? And I wanted to start out with where my journey began, okay? Why it began, what broken place I was at that I literally started, that I literally wanted to start my journey consistent, start getting that mindset change, believing that I was worth more than what was around me. I needed to make those consistent small daily choices and changes in my life. I needed to personally make a faith and inner healing change, and I had to make that my foundation. And I had to realize that it's a lifestyle change. For me, it wasn't about a diet. It was a lifestyle change. And with that, I hope that helps you. I hope that resonates with you guys. I really do. I really hope that spoke to you guys. No matter what you faced or how heavy life has felt, remember this: you have the strength to rise again. Your story is not over because you are still breathing. So as long as I have breath, I still have more forward, one step at a time to go. Okay. So with that, next Thursday, I'm going to be doing another transparent talks. Okay. Next Thursday, that one, it's going to be faith over fear. That's what it's going to be about. But until next Thursday, keep pushing through with me because we are stronger together. Trust and believe. Thank you so much. And remember, it's a lifestyle change. Okay? I hope you all took something. But now I can go scream because I was so nervous, y'all. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you being here. I really do. Thank you, Gisela. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all. I really do. Have a good night. Oh, thank you.
You're gone.